slept with your sister's fiance and you have the gall to say that's all?
Now you listen. Dennis and I started... Now you listen. Dennis and I started imbibing a little bit of the bubbly last night, and I got the slightest bit tipsy. But after I discovered that I was in no shape to make the late show at the Top of the World Club, I simply decided to sleep over. That's all.
That's all? You slept with your sister's fiance and you have the gall to say that's all?
It's true, Dawn. Dennis and I slept together.
Texas, starring Beverly McKenzie.
But you gotta give me an alibi, Mr. Curtis. If Decker asked, you gotta say I was working all night that night.
Hey, look, I offered you a deal, kid, and you turned it down. So don't come to me looking for favors, huh?
The deal? I mean, it was crazy, Mr. Curtis.
See it yourself.
You were talking about shooting Alex Wheeler.
Something like that, yeah.
Hey, now, you know I'd do anything you ask. You know I would, but not this.
No buts, right? You gotta make a choice. Now! You go along with me, or I go along with Decker. So all you gotta do is figure out which way your best shot lays. With me, or back in the slammer where you came from.
Hey, Weasel.
You can't be meaning me, Decker, so why don't you just keep on walking?
Weasel's an animal who lives in a hole and eats rats for breakfast. Yeah, I'm talking to you all right.
Well, I'm not listening, so it looks like you're talking yourself. Hope you listen real good.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen. And you're gonna talk. All about what you were doing on the night of October the 8th.
How the hell can I remember back that far? I was probably pouring booze just like I do every other night.
Yeah, well, if you strain that mind of yours real hard, I bet you can remember. October the 8th, right? It ought to stand out real clear. October the 8th. That's the night you beat up Don Marshall.
Man, being a cop must get to your mind real easy, you know that? You're starting to think up all sorts of crazy stories. Like I told you before, Decker, you ain't no kind of cop now. And even when you was, you didn't have the class to have Houston for your beat. So why don't you just haul your butt back to Marshall County and go bust up some chicken thieves, huh? Now that'd be more like your style, now wouldn't it, huh?
Yeah, you're right. I'm not a cop. That means no more badge, no more handcuffs, no more constitutional rights for trash like you. No more cop. Just a guy with questions. And my own two fists to give me the answers.
Use your fist creep and I'll call a cop!
Yeah, why don't you call the SPCA? Maybe they'll listen to you.
Mr. Curtis, tell him!
Tell him? Tell him what?
Tell him about October 8th or whatever it was when Don Marshall got beat up!
Too late, right? Curtis already told me. He doesn't remember for sure.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's what I said, all right. But, something Billy Joe said just jogged my memory.
What do you mean your memory's jogged?
Billy Joe was working all right. All night.
Sounds like a mighty strange memory to me. I'd like to know what jogged it.
Something Billy Joe said just brought it all back.
It's funny, I don't remember him saying anything.
Maybe he wasn't listening.
October 8th. I mean, that's what did it. Billy Joe said he was probably pouring booze that night, the night of October 8th. And that's what brought it all back, because on October 8th, Wright was really pouring booze for this old broad whose husband had just croaked. She had just come into his $10.2 million, and she was so drunk she didn't know whether she was grieving or celebrating. You know, kept pouring down the bourbon and water and saying, 10.2. 10.2.
That's right, a 10.2 lady. Sure, I remember. That was some plastered old broad if I ever did see one. Man, I never made so many drinks for a customer in my whole life. I'll tell you something. So you got me jumping all night.
What are you trying to feed me, Curtis? I said October the 8th the last time I talked to you. Didn't do anything for your memory then. What kind of story you feeding me now?
Officer Decker.
Ex-Officer Decker.
Who said anything about a story? I mean, you know how the human mind works.
Yeah, some work mighty shifty.
The mind is a very complicated machine, Decker. I mean, one day you can't remember something for the life of you. And then the next day, there it is, just like you never forgot it. I mean, the last time we talked to each other, I couldn't remember anything about October 8th. But now with Billy Joe's help, I can. That's all there is to it.
Okay, Weasel, you got your alibi. And I guess I can't get you arrested. Yet.
Man, you couldn't get yourself arrested. You watch yourself, you ex-pig cop. Because I know my rights, whether you read them to me or not. And from what you've been pulling here today, man, you know, I could swear out a complaint assault against you. You know that? Complaint assault? I just might do it, too.
That's so you remember what you're talking about and what you're complaining about, punk.
Would you mind heating up some coffee? And Dennis and I would really use it after last night.
Heat it up yourself.
Okay. I just thought you'd want to lend a hand. After all, I lent my hand last night.
Yeah, that's what I'm beginning to realize, Paige.
Oh, little sister. Wipe that grim little look off your face. Somebody had to stand in for you when you were indisposed.
Oh, and you made the noble sacrifice.
Why, Dawn, how nice of you to appreciate my work. But really, it was no sacrifice, honey. Although we could have used some help drinking up all this leftover champagne.
Oh, well, it looks like you did just fine without me.
Oh, a little too fine, I fear. See, Dennis and I decided that we were going to finish up all the open bottles of champagne ourselves. Oh, looks like we succeeded. Oh, well, waste not, want not, I always say.
Well, I'm glad you're getting a laugh out of this, Paige.
Oh, honey, come on. The only reason I'm laughing is because I see myself in you when I was your age. Young, romantic, and jealous. I mean, they go hand in hand, don't they?
I come to visit my fiancé, and another woman comes down out of his bedroom wearing his pajamas. You can't see why I'm suspicious?
Another woman? Darling, I'm Paige, your sister. You don't really believe that I would...
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, honey. Now, you listen. Dennis and I started imbibing a little bit of the bubbly last night, and I got the slightest bit tipsy. Okay, I got blotto. In fact, the whole evening is kind of a blur after a certain point. But after I discovered that I was in no shape to make the late show at the Top of the World Club, I simply decided to sleep over. That's all.
That's all? You slept with your sister's fiancé, and you have the gall to say that's all?
It's true, Dawn. Dennis and I slept together.
Oh, I can't believe this. You are standing there as if nothing were wrong, telling me that you and
Dennis and I slept together. Slept! Just slept!
And you expect me to believe that?
Oh, honey, it was just a slumber party. You remember the old days, Friday night, we'd all sit around with curlers on? Well, actually, we never had any champagne at those parties, though. We never knew what we were missing. And I assure you that Dennis was not wearing curlers last night. But anyway, even though you doubt your own flesh and blood, I'm sure that you will believe Dennis. So I'll just run up and see if he's finished showering, and then he will come down and tell you exactly what happened.
You'll run up and see if he's finished showering?
Oh, it's no trouble, dear. I have to dress anyway. I have a luncheon date with Dennis's mom. Bye.
I baby that turkey long enough. I help act like a damn saint because I just don't like to beat up on anybody, especially somebody who doesn't know how to really handle himself. But this doesn't. I'm really mean it. I'm about to set that boy straight.
Okay. Listen, I'm sure Decker knows he better watch his step. And if not, you can educate him, but do it later. Right now, we got important business to take care of. Now dry off and help yourself to some of my clothes and wait for me. I'll be back.
I'm not waiting around for nobody. I'm going after that country creep now. Hey!
Either you wait for me, or I'll go after that country creep and tell him that my memory's been playing tricks on me again.
Hey, Mr. Curtis, you just got to
know
tell
what
him.
I said. And I'll keep my word right. I'll do what you want, as long as you do what I want. That's better. I thought you'd see it my way. Now, I'm going to a little job interview at KVIK. When I get back, you and I will have our first official conference. Right.
Yeah?
Plan on a long conference. We got lots to talk over. Careful plans to make. After all, you gotta be careful when you're planning an assassination attempt on the likes of Alex Wheeler.
Justin, I won't let you dump me like this. Now, you just listen to me.
Rena, I am not dumping you. I just won't let you program me.
I'm not trying to program you.
Sure felt that way.
Well, then you just don't know me as well as you think. You forgot your toothbrush. I'm just really an old-fashioned girl in a lot of ways.
Oh, I know. Lace and smelling salts and handcuffs in the hope chest.
I mean it, honey. I just don't believe in fooling around like that and without
the promise of an entangling alliance. I know, Rena, I cannot afford an entanglement like that. I have other priorities.
You won't stay here with me, then what about your arm? I mean, you just can't get shot and then go back to work after only one day of R&R?
Ceasefire's over, Rena. It's time to start up the war again.
Oh, Justin! Not Alex Wheeler again!
Rena, I don't know where you come by such a suspicious nature. I just got a promotion at KVIK. I'm eager to get to work. Now, how does my job at KVIK have anything to do with Alex Wheeler?
If you're eager to get back to KVIK, it's got something to do with Alex Wheeler, and that's dumb and it's dangerous. I'm just sorry I got you that damn job.
I'm not.
Wait a minute. Oh, honey, I got it. Sometime today, I've got to meet with Ryan Connor about handling Daddy's affairs while he's recovering. Now, honey, you know what a terrible head I have for business, and you're so good at that. So why don't I hire you to handle all of his interests for us while he's, recovering from
No, Rena, no. Count me out.
I'll pay you more than you're getting at KVIK, darling.
Out of the question,
It's
Rena.
a business offer, sweetheart. Think about it. You can kiss KVIK goodbye, and then you can come and stay here with me and consider my other offer.
Rena, quickest way to destroy our friendship is for me to stick around here and let you have your way with me. I mean, look what happened to poor Kevin.
Poor Kevin wasn't half the man you are.
Yeah, one way to make sure that I stay that way is to turn down your money, which, you know, of course, I don't want anyway.
I know. But I have something else you do want.
Rena. Now, the time for that was last night. You had to drive such a hard bargain.
Darling?
Now, this is today. Like I say, the ceasefire is over. Duty calls. Thanks for the R&R.
The last thing in the world you need is a war. You're already shell-shocked. You bull-headed, strong-minded, oh, I can't stand you! Justin! Madman! You bull-headed, vile!
Oh, has Kevin come home?
No!
Oh.
Kevin really is vile. No, it's Justin. I just wish I hadn't persuaded Vicki to give him that job. Now, if I had owned KVIK, I'd have him fired and put an end to this craziness.
Well, you don't, unfortunately. Or fortunately, as the case may be. So there's no point in working yourself into a lather over it, is there?
No.
Well, then why don't you just calm down and let me tell you something?
No advice, please. I've had all the advice about how I should live my life, and I've had enough opinions about Rena Cook that I can stomach, so if you don't mind.
Is it possible I might have something to say on a subject other than Rena Cook?
I'm sorry. I really do get wrapped up in my doings, don't I?
Oh, no.
What is happening on the Iris Carrington front?
Oh. Alex and I have set the date, November 21st.
Oh, honey. Oh, baby, I'm so happy for you. November 21st. Now, that has a certain kind of ring to it. Am I cordially invited?
You are cordially invited to stand up with me.
Oh, honey, it would mean so much to me.
It would mean a great deal to me.
Oh, that's why it means so much to me, because it means so much to you. Oh, honey, you have no idea all the flack I've been putting up with. Nobody has any use for me. You're the first one in a long time.
You're my dearest friend, Rena. You know that.
You're very dear to me. Thank you.
But being my matron of honor carries some pretty weighty responsibilities. There are a million details we have to arrange.
I can't wait. When do we start?
Immediately, if not sooner. We'll have to, or there will be no wedding on November 21st.
What about a certain detail named Dennis Carrington? Have you told him that?
Not yet.
Oh.
But we went to the birthday party Paige gave for him.
You and Alex?
Yes, and Dennis was polite to Alex at least.
Polite is a little ways from accepting Alex as the man who was really his father.
True, but polite is a long way from surly and antagonistic, which is how Dennis has been toward Alex in the past. I think he's coming around. I'm feeling very hopeful these days.
That must mean that Dawn is coming around, too.
No, it doesn't. In fact, I think it's a case of absence making the heart grow fonder. Dawn's absence from Houston making Dennis fonder of Alex.
Honey, I'm a little surprised. You know, without Dawn's approval...
Well, see, there's been another Marshall helping Dennis while Dawn was away. Paige. And I think she's been a good influence on him.
Paige Marshall leaves no one uninfluenced by her presence.
She seems quite mature, cooperative. Very different from Dawn. In fact, I am having lunch with Paige in a while at the top of the World Club. She's managing the club now, you know.
Doesn't surprise me. Paige has always been a manager.
She's been such a help with Dennis. I thought perhaps she might help with the wedding. What do you think about having the wedding at the club?
Annie, I think that's a fabulous idea, but about Paige Marshall.
Yes?
You just stay on the lookout for her, honey. I've known her ever since we played dollies together, and my dollies always left Paige Marshall's house with one less dress or one scratch more than they had when they first got there.
Rena, good grief. Even if that's so, it was years ago. Paige is grown now, and she's been very kind to me. And I know she is working wonders with Dennis.
Morning. Oh. Sorry I didn't, I'm sorry I made you wait. I thought I'd take a cold shower. Oh. Didn't help.
That's too bad.
Yeah, well, you only turned 25 once. You're sorry you couldn't stay for the rest of the celebration.
Yeah, well, I should have.
Well, that's okay. You're here now, and everything's fine.
Everything's fine, huh?
Yeah, of course it is. You know, when Paige told me you were here, I couldn't believe it. I mean, last night, just being here, you know, you were scared. And you were scared of me, too. I didn't think you were ready to try it again so fast.
Oh, don't touch me.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess you're not ready. Look, I know you've been through a lot, Dawn. But I'm getting a little sick and tired of being treated like the guy that assaulted you.
Well, betrayal is a form of assault, Dennis. At least it feels like it anyway.
What are you talking about? I've given you all the love and support I could. I'm sorry it didn't help. But you know, I need love and support too. In fact, I don't know how long I'm going to last without any. I'm getting a little tired.
Is that where my sister comes in?
What are you talking about?
Paige. The one who's always willing to offer love and support to those in need.
Wait a minute. Are you asking? Hey, now wait. Now just a second. Paige has been very kind. She's helped me out here, and she's been someone to talk to. But if you think she's taking your place...
Well, I know she's doing her damnedest to try. And it looks to me like she's succeeded. Did you two sleep together last night?
And now the next part of Texas.
Yeah! Paige slept here. There's something wrong with a friend spending the night?
Well, I guess that's up to you, Dennis. Since Paige is certainly no friend of mine.
Well, she's your sister!
In name only.
When you jump to conclusions, you really jump, don't you?
Well, this doesn't take much jumping. I mean, the conclusions are as plain as the smirk on my sister's face.
Look, can we stop talking about your sister and start talking about us?
Well, unfortunately, Dennis, They can't be separated. You see, the three of us have now become a nice little triangle.
Look, Paige is your sister. And she's my friend. Look, I didn't even know she was sleeping here till I woke up and saw her.
Oh, Dennis. Dennis, you're amazing. What, did she make herself invisible? Is that how you managed to overlook her body in your bed?
Look, I got tanked last night, okay? Can you live with that? It was my birthday, the big 2-5. It was a celebration, even though you couldn't manage to stick around for it.
Well, I didn't go traipsing off to some other party, Dennis. I thought you understood.
Fine. I understand. But I wanted to celebrate. And I wanted to get a little numb, to tell you the truth. You know, you're not the only one who has feelings and can be hurt. Last night, I was hurting pretty badly, too. Last night was an important night for me, and the girl I'm going to marry wasn't there. So, I had a few drinks with a friend. Sue me.
Well, maybe she was.
What?
The girl you're going to marry. Maybe she was here. I mean, you were hurting, so Paige soothed you. Maybe you'd like for her to soothe you on a permanent basis.
Please, there are a lot of ways to soothe a person who is disappointed and depressed. You're choosing to see this thing in the sleaziest way you can.
I don't have a choice. Believe me, if there were any other way to see it. You and Paige slept together. You were so drunk that you didn't even know she was here. Well, maybe you were so drunk that you forgot what the
if I had
you
slept
did
with
together.
Paige, I certainly would have known it. If I had made love to her, I certainly would have known it. Right?
Maybe she made love to you. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not going to share you with anyone. Especially not
Dawn.
my sister, the worldly sophisticated
Dawn,
one.
will you listen to
No,
me?
I won't. I've heard plenty.
Fine. Why don't you just go home and cool off? And call me later.
To try and catch you during one of your off moments? When your bed just happens to be empty? Don't hold your breath.
You don't have to fill me in about your days with the Houston Oilers, Mr. Curtis.
Clipper, please.
Okay, Clipper. You don't have to fill me in because your reputation precedes you.
Thanks, Miss Walker. Ms. Walker? Not Mrs. Walker, I hope.
Sam will do just fine.
Sam?
Samantha.
That's more like it.
More like what?
Fine wine deserves a crystal goblet, not a paper cup. And a fine woman deserves a name like Samantha. May I call you Samantha?
You can call me anything you like. Just keep it clean. Okay, Clipper. We do have one opening. One of our men was transferred to news. But what I want to know is why you're interested in TV sports.
Well, if you followed my career, you know I was injured. Can't play ball anymore. But I miss the whole sports scene. I miss the action, and I miss being in front of the public eye. And I figure with TV sports, I can have all that and more.
More?
Well, the more is what I can do for TV sports. I don't want to sound presumptuous, but
Oh, you couldn't if you tried.
I had quite a following in my pro ball days. Of course, I don't have to tell you because my reputation has preceded me and all that.
True.
So, of course, you know that the on-camera sports star is a very proven formula in several major markets across the country.
Major markets, huh? You're already beginning to sound more like a TV person than a jock.
I wouldn't come to talk to someone in your position without doing my homework first. Samantha. I wouldn't be the first ex-jock to boost a TV station's ratings in a big way.
Famous jock, big following. Not bad looking. You'd be presentable on camera.
Great. When do I start?
Well, there's just one problem, Clipper.
Hey, no sweat, Samantha. I'm expensive, or we'll work out a deal.
That's not the problem. It's that reputation that keeps preceding you, and I'm not talking about your football reputation.
Hey, I know I've been called a ladies' man on occasion, but that doesn't have to get in the way.
I'm talking about the reputation that took a nosedive with you all the way down from the top of the world.
That reputation.
Yes, that reputation. You see, the last thing I need around KVIK Sports is someone plotting and wheeling dealing.
You certainly don't look like the kind of lady who would believe everything she hears.
My sources usually know what they're talking about.
Oh, come on. You know about sources. I mean, things get mixed up, blown out of proportion. Happens all the time.
Good morning.
Justin, I believe you know Clipper Curtis.
What a surprise, Curtis. I thought you'd be tucked away behind bars by now.
That's a strange notion. I mean, jail is for criminals, Marshal. Everyone knows I'm no criminal.
Last time I saw you, you were doing a pretty good imitation of one.
Maybe you should be doing some time. I mean, you're the one who called the scene and got that lunatic to hunt me down. I'm sure we could come up with an accessory to attempted murder charge for you, Marshal. I mean, any good cop could tell that you were trying to get me killed. Almost succeeded, too.
Oh, what a great loss to mankind. Now, Curtis, if I wanted you dead, you'd... I don't want you. I just wanted the truth.
Well, whatever you wanted, your connection with KVIK almost got me killed. And by my count, that means they owe me.
All right. Apply for a medal, then beat it.
Hey, I'm not looking for glory. I'm just looking for a chance to do an honest day's work. A chance to step into the job that you just stepped out of.
You don't mean you're gonna hire this second-rate hood?
Are you trying to advise me about whom to hire? Is that part of your new position?
You must be out of your mind. Take a walk, Curtis. This lady has other things
The
to
lady
do.
can speak for herself, think for herself, and make her own decisions. Got it?
You're not going.
I'm not going to what? Clipper, you got a job. Report in the morning.
See you tomorrow morning, Samantha. Thanks, pal. You said just the right thing. I owe you one.
Okay, Rena. Got yourself one hunting cabin on the Marshall Ranch. Wish you all the best with it.
Thanks, Ryan. I know it's just what Stryker needs. He'll come back with color on his cheeks and a whole new lease on life.
Well, that's what we're all pulling for, isn't it? Look, while you're here, Stryker wanted me to go over his estate with you.
Oh, honey, will it take long?
No. At Stryker's request. I went through his personal holdings, and I prepared a summary list of his real estate and all of his stock and bond holdings.
Ryan, I trust you for all this stuff. It's pretty routine, isn't it?
Well, most of it handles itself, I guess.
So why don't I put this in your capable hands? I really have no head for all this rigmarole, and I have no heart for it either.
Look, Rena, I can handle most of this for you, but, well, some of it's not so routine.
Okay, if you have a problem, just Call me.
Look, there's one matter I think we should discuss right now. It'll just take a few seconds, all right?
Okay, Counselor.
Stryker is scheduled to attend a monthly meeting of the Victory Network Board of Directors. Now, obviously, he won't be able to make it. So he has to assign a proxy to sit in for him.
Well, can't they get by without him?
Well, they could, but that really wouldn't be in his best interest. After all, he owns a large chunk of that stock, you know. So someone will have to represent his interests at the meeting.
Victory Network, KVIK?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's Vicky's lock, stock, and barrel. She runs the whole show, honey.
Well, she might run the show, but Stryker has a lot to say about how she runs it, if he wants to. So like I say, he owns a big piece of the outstanding stock.
Well, maybe I should educate myself in the ways of the business world. After all, family obligation is a family obligation. If I can assist Vicky in running her empire, I can hardly say no. I'll get Stryker to name me as his proxy. Now, when's that next board meeting? I don't want to shirk my first official duty.
Boy, this is really life here, you know? Yes, sir. I'm gonna get me one of them little apartments here, I think, you know? Have a little, like a second home, a little love nest on the side. You know, nobody has to know about it.
Ought to bring the rents down anyway.
That's real funny, you know that? I got some news for you, you know. One of these days, the name of Billy Joe Rat's gonna make all your fancy neighbors stand up and take notice.
Hey, don't get all bent out of shape, okay? Now listen, we got business to take care of. Now, those days of wealth and glory that you're looking for might be closer than you think.
Well, that's more likely.
Well, sure it is. Set yourself down. Now, listen, right? Hey. Give me your attention. Now, we've done a little sparring in the past. But what we gotta have here is a real partnership, a meeting of the minds. And we gotta concentrate on putting all that stuff in the past aside and be friends. Good friends. Okay?
Okay, Clip. I gotta know more about what I'm getting myself into here. I mean, what's all this stuff about assassinating Alex Wheeler, and what makes you think we can get away with this?
Paige, that was such a lovely party you gave for Dennis. It must have taken a lot of time to arrange.
Well, when you're doing something for someone you care about, Iris, it hardly seems like work. Thank you. And I've grown so fond of Dennis.
That was apparent last night. Only a very dear friend would have gone to so much effort.
Well, after all, it was his 25th. But for Dennis and me, I'm afraid the party really didn't end until this morning. What? Well, there might be those who get no kick from champagne, Iris, but I get a rather large kick, I'm afraid, unaccustomed as I am to the grape. You were in my cups. Yes, I had one for the road, but then I couldn't find the road. So I ended up spending the night.
You and Dennis?
Oh, Iris. Oh, I hope you didn't think that... No. Dennis and I spent the night under the same roof, but nothing at all happened that would give a mother pause. I think you know me well enough by now. I only have Dennis's best interest at heart. And I'd never let him do anything that he'd regret.
Of course you wouldn't.
Iris, you're so rational. That's what I respect about you. One of the many qualities, of course. I just wish my baby sister were more like you.
Dawn. I don't think there's much similarity.
You're right, of course. You are reasonable and rational. Dawn tends towards hysteria, I'm sorry to say, confronted with the same rational explanation for my presence at Western Art this morning. Dawn flew into a rage, accused me and Dennis of the most sordid behavior.
Well, I hope this isn't insensitive of me. I know that Dawn is your sister, but I'm not surprised in the least. For some time now, Dawn has struck me as unreasonable and immature. You say she accused Dennis?
Oh, you should have heard her. No, I take that back. You shouldn't have heard her. She was disgusting.
Well, that's unfortunate for Dennis.
I think it's my turn to be insensitive now, Iris.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not very proud of this thought, but I have to speak honestly.
Of course.
This rift between Dennis and Dawn, I don't think it's unfortunate. I've gotten to know Dennis rather well, and I've come to feel that Dawn is wrong for him, Iris. She may be my sister, but in all honesty, I think she's absolutely wrong for Dennis. She's temperamental, standoffish, completely unreasonable. Why, she's even poisoned Dennis's mind against Alex. Can you imagine that? Against his own father.
Stepfather. Stepfather-to-be.
Oh, Iris, you can trust me. Alex is Dennis's father, isn't he?
Stay tuned for the conclusion of Texas.
Now listen to me. Every word counts.
Hey, boss, you know me. I'm all ears.
It's what's between the ears that worries me.
Hey, you said you're gonna stop.
Hey, don't take it personally. I'm just making another joke. No big deal, huh? Now listen. Rule number 1. Never kill the goose that lays the golden egg.
Alex Wheeler's the goose, right?
On target, right?
But you said, assassination.
Assassination attempt.
Right.
You got it?
No.
What's the problem?
Well, first you say we can't assassinate the goose with the golden egg, and then you say that's exactly what we're gonna do.
We're going to attempt to assassinate him. Now, you got it?
And if we're lucky, we get him.
No, if we're lucky, we don't. Look, you're gonna fire a shot at him, but miss. Then I'm gonna step in there and protect him. Get him to duck and then take credit for saving his life. That's my ticket back to the top of the world.
Hell, boss, them cops catch me shooting at him, and they ain't gonna care whether I hit him or not. And that'll be my one ticket back to Huntsville. One way for sure. I spent 3 years behind bars just because I borrowed a lousy car. This time, they'll never let me out.
Hey, look, the grand prize is a ticket back to the slammer. But not for you, pal. Because I got a fall guy all picked out. That's why I got myself a job at KVIK. I'm gonna get close to the guy who's gonna take the rap for this one. Our hero.
Who's our hero?
A hero I owe a lot to. Guy who's been gunning for Wheeler so long that nobody will be surprised when he finally pulls the trigger. A hero named Justin Marshall.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Texas.
I know you could help me with Iris if it were worth your while. And I'm prepared to make it very much worth your while.
I'm afraid you're going to have to be more specific, Vicki.
All right, then. I'll spell it out for you. I want you to prevent something. I want you to keep Iris from marrying Alex Wheeler.
Texas, starring Beverly McKenzie.
I'm not very proud of this thought, Iris, but I have to speak honestly.
Of course.
This rift between Dennis and Dawn, I don't think it's unfortunate. I've gotten to know Dennis rather well, and I've come to feel that Dawn is wrong for him. She may be my sister, but in all honesty, Iris, I feel she is absolutely wrong for Dennis. She's temperamental, standoffish, completely unreasonable. Why, she's even poisoned Dennis's mind against Alex. Can you imagine that? Against his own father.
Stepfather? Stepfather to be.
Oh, Iris. You can trust me. Alex is Dennis's father, isn't he?
Until Dennis's party, I thought I'd covered that secret very well. How did you find out?
Well, abstract math bores me to tears, but I've always been pretty good at addition. I just put 25 and 25 together. Your years apart, Dennis's age, added 9 months, and voila. Alex is a daddy.
You make it sound like child's play.
Oh, of course, I added Elliot's little bit of info that you two were married in a rush. And then your little slip of the tongue the other day about Dennis being with his father. Alex. But it wasn't that difficult.
You didn't tell Elliot, did you?
No.
Oh, thank heavens. I don't know what his reaction would be.
You know, Iris, I somehow feel that this attachment to Alex has fogged your vision.
Oh, if anything, it's cleared my vision.
Not when it comes to your own self-interest. You do want Alex and Dennis together, don't you?
Of course I do.
Elliot showing up at this exact moment only complicates matters.
Yes. Years ago, when Dennis had a bad heart condition, all Elliot could think about was having an affair with another woman. And now that Dennis doesn't need him, Elliot falls around his neck like a
long-lost father who should stay lost. But you're right. Elliot is grabbing at Dennis like a lifebuoy. But he won't save himself. He'll just bring Dennis, Alex, and you down with him. You have got to break his hold, Iris.
How?
By letting him know that Dennis isn't his son.
Oh, no, I could never do that.
Oh, well, I wouldn't expect you to. But what if I did it for you?
What the heck am I doing on this plane going back to Houston?
Well, don't you remember? You're starting a new life. Or are you regretting letting go of the old one?
Oh, no, I'm not going back to ups to get out of bed in the morning, downers at 3 in the morning to get to sleep. My life is dead. It's like the Army, I just didn't make it.
Then?
I said that I didn't want any help. Now I'm going in for an examination that I don't want to, a city that I don't know anything about.
Oh, Jeb, you like Houston.
That's not the point. The point is, how did I let myself get talked into this?
Well, a little bit of logic and something a lot more basic.
I thought I had the cure for that after Suzanne.
I hope you never get immune to those kind of charms, little brother.
Oh, not likely. A blonde with no brains I can do without. So plenty of those on the road. But a knockout who's a doctor, well, it's different.
Don't stop now.
How long you been awake?
Not long enough. I believe you were listing my charms.
No, I wasn't. I was beating myself for letting you talk me into going to Houston.
Well, you better put the whip away because we're about ready to land.
Yeah, and after that, you're not going to have any time to do anything. You're going to be busy having diagnostic tests after I take you to see Kevin.
Well, and first things first. I am looking forward to meeting the famous Dr. Kevin Cook.
That new hard sound, Bart. Turning over like a brand new V8.
Sounds like you were born with it. Kevin did a terrific job, Stryker.
Won't be any factory recalls now.
Well, not if you take care of yourself, Stryker.
I tell you, I do feel reborn. Oh, all right. Reborn into a middle-aged body. A used car with a factory overhaul. Now, you are going to let me take to my wheels, aren't you?
That's up to Kevin.
Well, Bart, you're the man's doctor now. But if you'd like my opinion, well, Well, I'd say yes. There are no signs of rejection. You're in as good shape as medical science can make you, Stryker.
That settles it. I'll sign the release papers.
Oh, I am so grateful to you, son. You know, I'm accustomed to showing my gratitude. Tell me, doesn't that surgical unit of yours need some more money or some fancy piece of equipment, whatever? Just name it.
Well, Stryker, I think I'd rather think of this as my payment. After all the generosity you've shown me since I've been married to Rena, I'd like to feel that the books are balanced.
You can put a ton of money into one side of a scale, but when you put a man's life into the other, it is always going to be out of balance. Now, I know that. It's just that I want to show my appreciation in the biggest way I can. And I know with you, that always goes into your work.
Well, if you feel you must, Stryker, I'll give some funds to Gulf Coast, but I have no special claims.
No special claim? Well, you've saved my life. You are my son-in-law.
Well, Stryker, you'll have to forgive me, Stryker. I have my rounds to do.
Well, I still don't see what...
Oh, Rena, how are you?
Hi, don't you look fit? I'm sure I can take Daddy home, right, Bart?
Rena?
Right. I'll go sign the release forms.
Thanks, Bart. You've been very kind.
Well, kinder than you were to Kevin. I've seen people kinder to a mangy cur than you were to your husband. Now, what's going on?
He's as strong now as he'll ever be, Rena. But don't abuse what Kevin's given you.
Now, what's he talking about?
Stryker, let's not get into it right now, okay?
You heard your cousin. He said I was strong enough to get the truth out of you, and I mean to do that. Now, tell me, what's going on between you and Kevin?
I don't know what to say.
It's easy, Iris. Just say, Paige, I leave everything in your hands.
Oh, but this is such a delicate affair. Elliot, Dennis, this could wreck their lives, not to mention mine.
All the more reason to leave it in the hands of a disinterested third party, Iris. But not one who is too disinterested.
No, it's just too private, too personal.
Privacy and discretion guaranteed. No job too large, too small. Paige Marshall, fixer of broken relationships par excellence. Also breaker of fixed relationships.
But I still don't understand why you...
You're looking for an ulterior motive. Well, I could say that it's out of the goodness of my heart, but the truth is I do have another reason.
Yes.
Well, do you know about my predecessor here at the club, Clipper Curtis? One-time football hero, one-time manager of the club, all-time rat extraordinaire.
Of course. Alex fired him for very good reasons.
True. But Alex fired him once before for very good reasons. Clipper, however, seems to be made out of rubber and bounced up 50 stories right back into the club. Of course, thanks to Miss Terry Decker.
And you're afraid he might do that again?
Oh, maybe it's just paranoia, Iris, but for a dumb jock, Clipper has some remarkable comeback powers. I want to make myself invaluable to Alex. And that way, Miss Terry won't be able to get me out of my position.
This job means that much to you?
Not the job, Iris, the place. Being at the top. When I play King of the Mountain, nobody pushes me off. And when I'm up here and I see a star passing by, I grab out and reach it. And I was that close when my daddy died. And nobody's gonna take it away from me again.
I see. But I think you're exaggerating your insecurity. Alex wouldn't be so callous.
It's a rough world out there, Iris.
Do you really think you can bring Alex and Dennis together.
Look at my record. You barely got them to say hello. I got them to the same party and they were talking to each other. And I've also put a damper on Dawn's influence over Dennis, too. But as long as Elliot is in Houston...
Yes, there's no hope for further progress. Alex and I will be married on the 21st.
Then we're working against a deadline, too. And Vicki has given Elliot some excellent reasons to stay in Houston. So we'll just have to do her one better, won't we? Oh, don't worry, Iris. Just leave it to me. I'll make Elliot want to leave Houston for good.
You got out my old will?
Mm-hmm. Sure, it's right here. I had Holly get it out this morning. Here it is.
First, I'd like to make a request before we get to this. Iris and I are going to be married November 21st.
Hey.
I'd like you to be my best man.
Congratulations. Of course I will. I'd be proud to.
Thank you, Ryan. Now, if Iris and Paige can set everything up, we'll be ready.
What, Paige Marshall? Mm-hmm. She's handling the wedding?
Yeah, she's been quite valuable to me.
Okay, if you say so, Alex.
Now, this. I'm afraid, Ryan, that this is out of date.
What?
This is what I want my new will to do. To divide up my old holdings this way.
You're not serious about this?
Deadly serious. I'm sorry if it seems unfair to you.
Well, it's your money. I'm just a little surprised at what's here, that's all.
I want 1/3 to go to Iris, my wife.
Of course, but it's this other name that surprises me.
1/3 to Dennis Carrington?
Yeah. I mean, you've provided quite generously for Iris. I can see why you've done that. But why your son?
Because his name should have been Wheeler. He's my son too, Ryan. My real son.
Your son? But I thought he was Elliot Carrington's son.
So did I, until a few days ago. I found out his birthday was 9 months after Iris and I met in Saint-Tropez.
And Iris confirmed it?
After I pressed her on it, yes, she did. She was pregnant when she married Carrington.
Huh. Look, does Dennis know about this?
No. And neither does Elliot Carrington. And it's imperative that they don't know, at least not yet.
Oh, yeah, I can see why.
I'm determined that Dennis share in my estate, even though we may never be able to tell him. I'm very proud of him, Ryan.
Well, you have every right to be, Alex.
Yeah. I'm sorry if, I'm very sorry if I'm lessening your inheritance.
Hey, come on. I'm not going to be collecting that for a long time. You're in the prime of your life. Besides, I think Ginny and I can, well, we can live very happily on what I bring in, so we don't need your millions. You got that?
No, I guess you don't. From what you told me about her, I'm sure you don't.
Am I being talked about? How about judging for yourself? I missed you. Oh.
Well, I was waiting here this time while you went off and left me. Oh, I missed you even more. How was your trip, huh? Did you find your brother?
Oh, yes. He's very depressed about everything that happened last year, but he sort of has a sign on him that says, "Don't tread on me," chip on his shoulder. But I think Courtney cheered him up a little bit.
Not so quickly?
Oh, we women have our ways of getting what we want.
You certainly do. Come here. Well, where's Jeb now? Maybe you can have some lunch with us, okay?
Oh, I'm afraid not, Ryan. He went to Gulf Coast Hospital with Courtney to talk to Kevin. But I broke away and came right to your arms.
And that's right where you belong. Oh, I'm so glad you're back. We better start planning for the future. Have a whole lifetime together. Come here.
All right, Stryker. You're gonna hear this sooner or later. Honey, that marriage of ours has so many holes in it that even you wouldn't want it mended. It is over. It is finished.
Now, Rena, I just
Don't waste your
refuse
breath
to listen.
arguing with me, honey. It was wrong from the start. Kevin and I are hopelessly and completely mismatched. You wouldn't know a good time if it sat in his lap, and believe me, it has.
You wouldn't know duty and responsibility if it came with an expensive label in it like one of your dresses. I'm sorry, honey, but that's the truth.
All right. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm going to have to change that, but not with Kevin. Honey, we don't love each other anymore. I don't love him. Kevin's never been able to love anything that didn't come wrapped in a hospital gown so he could open it up and see what made it tick.
Now, that's just not fair.
Honey, I'm
to
giving
Kevin.
him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he even loves it.
Loves what? Or is it who?
I don't care what Kevin does anymore. I filed for a divorce.
Well, then, it's gone that far?
It's gone that far, Daddy. From now on, there's just going to be one man in my life. That's you.
Oh, I guess I have to accept your divorce. As much as it pains me to do that. But there is one thing that I absolutely refuse to accept, and that's your swearing off men. Now, a lot of women in this country have gone through a divorce, and they haven't quit there.
I'm a burnt child, Stryker.
Well, maybe that's because the wrong man was lighting the fire. Are you going to try to tell me that there's nobody out there who would be properly fitting for a thoroughbred?
Think they're all happily married.
I want you to be happily married before I check out of here for good. And by heaven, I want to see me a grandchild or two before that time comes as well.
You never told me that.
Well, I never told either you or Kevin about that, because you never showed any interest in children, but I always hoped. You know, there's nothing that can grow you up better than a cute little baby who depends absolutely on you for everything.
So that's your master plan, huh?
Well, you can call it that, but I want to see the third generation come in before I go out. Now, isn't there anybody on the horizon?
Not even a silhouette.
You sure? Not even Justin Marshall? Seems to me I remember you two always used to make sparks when you met.
Still do. Only now it's from friction.
Can't you get along with anybody?
Daddy, it's not my fault. All Kevin ever thought about was cutting people open and sewing them up. Well, all Justin thinks about is cutting one person open and leaving them that way.
Alex Wheeler.
Yeah, Alex Wheeler. Justin always did have a one-track mind. Before it was burning up the racetrack, now the only thing on that track is revenge.
Lord knows I owe Wheeler some revenge. But you know, Justin is just dead wrong. Well, he's wrong about Alex. Alex had nothing to do with my killing himself. I'm going to tell that boy he's throwing his life away.
Honey, you forget it, because I told him 6 ways from Sunday. You might as well be talking to a locomotive with its throttle stuck.
Oh, it is a crying shame.
Honey, the last thing in the world that your little girl needs right now is another man who only plays one note, whether it's medical science or Hamlet.
You're not gonna give up, though, are you?
No, I won't, Stryker. But I need a rest. So do you. So why don't we start off by planning all the good things we're going to do out of that Marshall cabin and let the past be dead.
Stryker, may I come in?
Come in, Vicki. Make yourself comfortable.
Thanks.
Oh, it's so good to see you after all this time.
I don't think it's so good.
Stryker, you're looking very well. I want you to know that I was here through the whole operation.
So was I.
Oh, yes, mother and daughter were together. At least we were in the same waiting room.
Thank you, Vicki. I want you to know I appreciate you being there.
I've kept up with your progress through Bart. That's how I knew you were checking out today, and I couldn't let that happen without telling you how happy I am that you've done so well.
If you two are going to make this old home week, I think I'm going to get out of here. Daddy, I'm going to the business office to pay your bill. I don't want you worrying about a thing, you hear?
Thank you, Rena.
And I won't be long. I expect that what Stryker has to say to you won't take me but more than a few minutes, Mother.
Thank you, Rena.
Well, Courtney Marshall. Taken up with somebody else so soon, I would have thought that you and Kevin would stick it out a little bit longer together.
This is a patient of mine, Rena.
Of course, honey, a patient. Is that the new code? Or can a doctor without a hospital or practice still pick up patients from the street?
What is this?
Oh, this is Rena Cook, mistress of the slant.
And I'm too much of a lady to say who Courtney is mistress of or who.
I've had just about enough of your rotten little jabs, Rena.
I didn't put together this little meeting, darling. It's just my bad luck that I had to endure both dearest Mommy on her goodwill visit to Stryker and to run into you at the same time. If I didn't know better, I would have thought that you two had gotten together and planned it.
I have a lot better ways of spending my day than standing here talking to you, Rena. Oh, and by the way, I hope to be joining Bart soon in a private practice.
Well, that's his problem. He's old enough to know better.
Bart knows a good doctor when he sees one. Oh, and for your information, this is Jenny's brother, Jeb. I'm referring him to Kevin.
Referring, huh? Well, you better watch out, honey, because Kevin and Courtney used to work together day and night. And when it comes to bedtime, who knows what happens in the minds that control the scalpel?
Rena!
Don't tell me I didn't warn you. Ta-ta!
Dr. Melton, 4-4. Dr. Melton, 4-4.
Is, everybody that outspoken
Oh,
here in
no,
Texas?
no. Rena is unique. But pay no attention to her. Kevin's divorcing her, and I can't wait.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like you guys have much in common, except for Dr. Cook.
You really are looking very well, Stryker.
Oh, thank you, Vicki. I really feel pretty good now. Oh, you should have seen me right after the operation. Why,
I didn't think you'd want me to come and visit, Stryker. I almost didn't come today. Well, since before the attack, you were so angry with me.
angry? No, not angry.
What then?
Oh, confused. Hurt.
Betrayed.
Yeah, that too. You know, lying here, I've had a lot of time to think about our lives together and apart.
Have you managed to make any sense of them? I can't.
I think I have. You know, coming as close as I have to checking out, you don't see unimportant things. You have got to reach a kind of peace inside yourself.
Have you?
My own kind of peace, I guess. I've learned to accept that you love another man more than me. Oh, it still seems awful unfair after all the years I've loved you.
Stryker, I'm sorry.
No, Vicki. You know, the most unfair thing about the whole business is that it doesn't mean a thing. It's all for nothing. Alex doesn't love you. You and he are still apart, aren't you?
Yes, I tried to tell you that before. And now, Alex is engaged to Iris, and I suppose they'll be married soon.
You and I are gonna grow old alone. Oh, it is such a waste. Such a sorry waste.
Stryker, are you saying you'd rather we were together?
No, I couldn't manage that now. Even though they gave me a new heart, it isn't as large as that. I guess I'm not a big enough man to forget. Or a small enough man to be satisfied with only a part of you, knowing you're still in love with somebody else. Always will be.
You know, I would change that if I could.
But you can't, can you?
No, I can't.
Well, guess there's no future for us then. But I will try to be your friend. And Vicki, if you ever need me,
I ever need you. It's funny. Alex used almost those exact same words when he said goodbye to me.
I mean them, Vicki.
Goodbye, Stryker.
I just passed Vicki in the hall. She looked like a whipped dog. That's just the way to take care of her, honey.
Now listen, I don't want to hear another unkind word about your mother, you hear me?
You did tell her it was over, didn't you?
Yes, I told her. Alex first and then me. I don't want to hear you kicking her when she's down.
Honey, I don't think she's all that far down. She's still got KVIK and all those other TV stations.
The Victory Network. How hollow that must all sound to her now. You know, I can remember like it was yesterday the pride she felt when she named them.
From what I understand, she wouldn't have had any of it had you not backed her.
Where'd you hear that?
Ryan Connor. It's true that you own a big chunk of Victory Network, isn't it, Daddy?
Yes, it's true. But it was Vicky's hard work and determination which turned that stock into something worthwhile.
Well, it's worth a lot now, isn't it?
It's a major part of your inheritance, young lady. You owe that all to Vicky. Now, don't you ever forget it.
I never forget what I owe people, Stryker.
Well, what gave you this sudden interest in family finances anyway? Oh, come on. Let's get out of this blasted hospital. I feel like I spent half my life here.
Hey, don't you be in such a hurry. Stryker, what did you say? You wanted me to be more responsible.
Well, that was a different kind of responsibility then.
I know. A husband and 4 or 5 kids crawling around the floor. Well, not just yet, anyway. But, you know, honey, I feel like such a fool when all of my friends start talking about board meetings and proxy votes and what have you.
You want to get involved in all that?
Why not? I'm not dumb, you know.
I never said you were, but...
But you don't think that I have the brains to sit on the Victory Network board for you, do you? That's it, isn't it? Well, honey, you can't go to those board meetings, and this is the perfect opportunity for me to start taking on more responsibility.
You really want to take my place in the Victory Network board?
Yes, I do, Daddy. It doesn't have to be right now. Come on, let's get all of your things together. I'm going to drive you out to that peaceful, quiet Marshall cabin. Kate's expecting us today.
You know, darling, I am so proud of you. You put Vicky out of your mind and all the hurt that she brought to be, and you're really trying so hard.
Oh.
Well, now, that wasn't a very feeling kiss.
That was a wait until the divorce kiss. That was what you wanted, wasn't it?
I see. You're still angry about having to wait.
Not angry. Just impatient. Lonely.
I understand, Courtney, but I'm sorry.
I know, but until the divorce, we have to keep our minds on our work. Only I can't do that, Kevin, because I don't have my work anymore. I don't even have you.
Now, Courtney, please.
All right. I do have one patient. Let me get him. Jeb, this is Dr. Kevin Cook, and Kevin, this is Jeb Hampton.
Jeb, I'm very pleased to meet you. I've heard a great deal about you from Courtney.
Yeah, well, Courtney's told me a lot about you, too.
Yes. Well, I understand you're here for some tests for your heart.
I'm here because Courtney here can twist an arm better than anyone I met. Aside from that, I don't know why I'm here.
Well, I'd assume you want to get well, live a normal life.
Yeah, well, you assume too much then, because my life has never been normal. Of course, that's always been my choice. I admit I've messed up everything I've done, but that's my mess. And I guess I will decide whether or not I want to live my messed up life or not, whether it's worth keeping.
Jeb, it is.
Well, that's easy for you to say. That's the doctor talking in you. No matter how crippled somebody is on the inside or outside, a life is always worth keeping, right? But that is easy for you to say because you're not the one that's crippled.
It's not always easy for us to say, Jeb. But then again, you're not really a cripple, are you?
Not on the outside.
Jeb, we did agree on one step at a time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, this is the first step. I'm not at practice at Gulf Coast anymore, so I brought you to introduce you to Kevin. Tomorrow he can start on the diagnostic test you'll need. That's the second step. From there, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
All right. I made a deal with you. I'll live up to it. What's it gonna cost me? A little time, maybe a little discomfort. So I'll stick with you for a day or two.
Uh-oh, here comes the boss and I'm not working. Alfredo, aren't you supposed to ring some sort of a buzzer whenever Alex comes into the club? I mean, isn't that what Clipper Curtis used to do?
No, Miss Marshall. That's what Mr. Curtis would have liked to have done.
Thank you, Alfredo. That's all right, Paige. I'm not a slave driver.
Oh, but if you could see my desk, Alex, if I don't order more booze, the weekend ground is going to start setting up a still.
Oh.
You wouldn't believe the deadbeats that Clipper never collected from. One guy has a bar tab here that'd reach from here to the moon. So please, sit down. Enjoy.
Well, if things are in that much disarray...
Oh, they're worse, Alex, believe me. So, once more into the breach, dear friends.
Thank you for a little talk, Paige. It was most helpful.
Very good to be of service, Iris. Alex, Iris, everyone, have a nice day.
Bye, Paige.
Ginny, I'd like you to meet Iris Carrington. Iris, this is a very special friend of mine, Ginny Marshall.
I'm very happy to meet you, Jimmy.
Same here, Iris.
Well, now, Alex told me you've set the date. Congratulations, Iris. Or maybe I should start calling you Aunt Iris, right?
Oh, no. Iris will do quite nicely.
Congratulations,
Oh,
Iris.
thank you. You know, I feel as though for the first time in my life, I'm within reaching distance of real happiness.
And reach out, darling, because I intend to make you the happiest woman in the world.
Well, from the look on Iris's face, I'd say you've made a good start, Alex.
If Dennis could reconcile himself to Alex, then my happiness would be complete. But I guess we just have to wait and see on that.
I'm glad you decided not to push it.
Let's talk about more practical things, like where to have this wedding.
Wherever you like. If I don't already own it, I'll buy it.
Oh.
Hey.
That won't be necessary. I thought we could have the ceremony right here in the club. That way we can have the reception and the dinner party afterwards right in the same place.
Well, fine. Wherever you just to give a list to Paige, and I'm sure she'll manage to come up with almost anything.
Yes, Paige seems to be a very efficient manager. That settles it then. I'll leave everything in her hands.
Hello, Elliot. Thank you for being so prompt. I'm sure you'll find cooperation like this will pay off.
Just by walking in a door?
No, I want a little more than that. Sit down, please.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you about your future here at KVIK.
My future? I don't even have a past at the station. It'll be some time before I even get the feature on my imprisonment finished, not to mention on the air. I think it's a bit premature to start talking about my future.
I don't. Elliot, I need help. I've been under a great deal of strain recently, and well, the Victory Network is so large and complex, I'm not sure I can run it all by myself any longer.
Well, then I know you're talking to the wrong man. I couldn't possibly help you run KVIK. I don't even know the first thing about it.
You could. Someone with your special qualifications could make himself a very bright future here at the station.
What qualifications? My news background? You could hire 10 just like me tomorrow if you offered them enough money.
No.
No, it's another part of your background I had in mind.
Does this have something to do with what Paige was hinting about at Dennis's party?
It has everything to do with it. Elliot, you were married to Iris. You must know her weaknesses and the black spots on that lily-white image.
Well, I don't see what that has to do with my role as a newsman.
It has nothing to do with it. And everything. Elliot, I know you could help me with Iris if it were worth your while. And I'm prepared to make it very much worth your while.
I'm afraid you're going to have to be more specific, Vicki.
All right, then, I'll spell it out for you. I want you to prevent something. I want you to keep Iris from marrying Alex Wheeler.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Texas.